Welcome everyone to Dynamics Bytes on USG. I am Saurabh Bharati, a senior solution architect at FastTrack. This is part 4 of Dynamics Bytes on USG. Our agenda today includes an overview of the process hierarchy, which is foundational for understanding how roles are structured within the organization. Following that, we will have a demo on creating the roles, duties, and privileges using the task recorder. And this hands-on approach will help solidify your understanding of how to implement these concepts in real scenario. Before we start, let's understand what is process hierarchy. A process hierarchy is a systematic way to organize business processes, ensuring that security roles aligns with these processes. These alignments not only enhances operational efficiency but also strengthens security by clearly defining roles and responsibility. By extracting business processes from positions, we can create intuitive security roles that are easy to manage and understand. Implementing a well-defined process hierarchy offers significant benefits. Firstly, it allows companies to optimize their license cost by aligning roles with the actual business need. Secondly, it reduces the risk of data fraud by ensuring that roles and privileges are clearly defined, minimizing unauthorized access. These advantages are critical for maintaining both operational efficiency and data security. To have the demo, let's pick up one use case. USMF user in accounts payable is responsible for recording both purchase order invoices and non-purchase order invoices. Now, we need to create a role to align with this process. This role should be able to have the duties and privileges to perform the following activities. It should allow user to create invoice from pending vendor invoices, post pending vendor invoices, create and simulate and post vendor invoice journal for non-purchase order invoices. Now, one of the prerequisites for this is we should have a task recording available for all the mentioned business process here. And let's look at how we can create this role using the process hierarchy under user security governance. Now, to do so, I need to navigate to system admin, and under system admin, I will go to security and then security governance. Under this, I have security process role maintain menu item. And this is where you can see from our previous video where we have created different categories which are here, where we can now organize our roles based on these work stream or the departments. Now, since the supplier invoice will be falling under accounts payable, let's say I will select this. Now under this, I can have multiple roles created. Now, one of the role which I want to create is vendor invoice processing, which will have two tasks. One, to create invoice against purchase order. One, create invoice against invoice journal. So I will click on new process here and provide a name. So I can enter the process name, description, and the version. And then I click OK. Now, once I click OK, under the category which I have picked up, this node is getting created. Now, I have different tabs here, which I will be explaining in the next video. But for now, to create a role for performing those two tasks, I need to import my task recording under the security task here. I can create a security task manually, or I can have the task recording imported here. So I can click on the load from task recording and I can click on browse for my task recording. I have browsed my file. I can click on OK, and this is going to create a task, security task for performing purchase order invoice using this task recording here. Now, once that is done, if you observe we do not have duty and the privilege name. We have the task created here. Now against this task, the next step is to create the duty. So I will create a duty against this security task. I will provide the name as vendor PO invoice here. Now, when I do this, system is having a validation here, which is about segregation of duties. Now, this specific duty which I'm creating as part of this task recording is having the conflict between with the other duty which is already available in the system. Now, if I want to accept this, or if I want to reject, or I want to use the other one, I can use that and then utilize that specific duty, or I can create my new one here. So USG provides you a framework to validate your segregation of duties at the time when you are having new role definition under this process hierarchy. Once that is done, I have my duty name and the privilege name created here. I can also look at all the entry points which are created as part of the security task and the duty and the privilege. Now, same thing I can do for importing my another task recording and create another duty here for my invoice journal. When I'm creating for the invoice journal, it is again telling me it has another duty AP invoice journal where it is matching exactly the same set of objects. So I can take a call, I want to use that, or I want to create my new one. Now, once that is done, I have my process hierarchy created where I have one process name, which is vendor invoice processing. Now it has two different security tasks, and those two different security tasks are having its own duty and the privileges. Now the next thing which I can do here is to create a role, and I can specify the name for this specific process. I can give a name, let's say AP invoice vendor invoice process. I can click on OK. Once that is done, I can see my role has been created. Now, if I want to look at this, look for this specific role under my standard security configuration, where my all the roles, duty, privileges are maintained, I can click on the security configuration here, and I can see that this role which I have just now created is available. And I can look at the duties which I have created as part of my process hierarchy. Now, this entire process makes it creation of the role, duties, and privileges very easy, and also it is based on the business process which an organization can have. Also, it allows you to have the validation of segregation of duties if there are any duties which are already having similar objects defined. That's it for this byte. See you in the next one. Thank you.